The 1865 United States of America $1 coin, commonly known as the Liberty-seated silver dollar, stands as one of the most fascinating, historically rich, and numismatically significant coins of the mid-19th century, encapsulating the tumultuous era of the American Civil War 1861–1865 and the transitional period of U.S. monetary history. Struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and in extremely limited numbers, only about 46,500 pieces were minted for circulation, alongside a small number of proofs, roughly 500. The 1865 Liberty-seated dollar belongs to a series that ran from 1840 to 1873, characterized by the iconic figure of Lady Liberty seated on a rock, holding a shield and a pole surmounted by a Phrygian cap. This coin was produced at a time when the U.S. economy was strained by war expenditures, rampant inflation in the Confederate States, and hoarding of precious metals, especially silver and gold, leading to widespread withdrawal of such coins from daily commerce. The design, by Christian Gobrecht, features on the obverse the classical personification of liberty, seated facing left, with flowing robes and a shield inscribed with the word, Liberty, symbolizing the defense of freedom during one of the most divisive conflicts in American history. Her right hand rests upon the shield, while in her left hand she holds a liberty pole topped with a Phrygian cap, an ancient emblem of emancipation and freedom, resonating deeply in 1865, the year when the American Civil War concluded and slavery was abolished with the ratification of the 13th Amendment. Encircling her figure are 13 stars representing the original colonies, with the date 1865 positioned prominently below. On the reverse of the 1865 silver dollar, an imposing and heraldic American bald eagle is displayed, its wings partially outstretched, clutching arrows in its left talon and an olive branch in its right, representing both military readiness and the desire for peace. Above the eagle appears the inscription, United States of America, and below, the denomination, $1. This reverse design was emblematic of U.S. coinage in the mid-19th century and aligned with the government's need to project stability and unity during the wartime period. The edge of the coin is reeded, a standard feature intended to deter clipping and counterfeiting. Compositionally, the 1865 dollar was struck in 90% silver and 10% copper, with a standard weight of 26.73 grams and a diameter of 38.1 millimeters, making it a substantial coin in hand and one of the largest silver coins in regular circulation at the time. However, due to the massive hoarding and melting of silver coinage during the Civil War, very few of these coins actually circulated, and many were either saved as keepsakes or exported and melted overseas. The mintage of 1865 was remarkably low compared to earlier years, reflecting the dwindling use of silver dollars in commerce as paper currency, not backed by metal during the war dominated. Most of these coins were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, the only facility producing silver dollars that year, as the branch mints in San Francisco, New Orleans, and Carson City were either not active for this denomination in 1865 or had ceased silver dollar production. The surviving population today is quite limited, and high-grade specimens, particularly those with original mint luster and minimal wear, are considered extremely valuable by collectors. Even circulated examples often command significant premiums due to their low survival rate and the historical importance of the year 1865. Proof coins from this year, with their deeply mirrored fields and razor-sharp details, are among the rarest of all seated Liberty proofs, often appearing only in major auctions or museum collections. Historically, the 1865 Liberty-seated dollar is inseparable from the context of the final year of the Civil War, which ended in April 1865 with the surrender of Confederate General Robert E. Lee at Appomattox Courthouse. This was also the year of President Abraham Lincoln's assassination in April, making it a pivotal year in American history that marked both tragedy and a turning point toward Reconstruction. The coin, therefore, serves not merely as currency but as a tangible artifact of a nation emerging from division and entering a new phase of rebuilding. Silver dollars of this era were not widely trusted for everyday trade during the war because silver had a much higher intrinsic value than its face value, leading to extensive hoarding and the rise of greenbacks, paper currency not backed by precious metals. From a numismatic perspective, the 1865 dollar is part of the larger Liberty-seated series, which itself evolved over several design modifications, including the addition and later removal of arrows at the date indicating weight changes, and the presence of "In God We Trust," which was not yet present on the 1865 issue but would appear on the reverse starting in 1866. Thus, the $1865 represents the final year before the inclusion of the national motto, making it a transitional type coin of great historical and collector interest. The absence of the motto on the reverse is a key diagnostic feature distinguishing it from its immediate successor. Collectors today prize the $1865 not only for its rarity but also for its story. Many surviving pieces exhibit signs of handling, hairlines from cleaning, a common practice in the 19th and early 20th centuries, or environmental damage from long storage, making truly original examples all the more desirable. Values for these coins range widely based on condition. A heavily worn specimen might sell for a few hundred to a couple of $1,000s, while well-preserved mint-state examples can command tens of thousands, and superb proofs can exceed six-figure prices at premier auctions. Provenance plays a significant role, and coins with documented histories or from famous collections, such as Eliasberg or Newman, often attract heightened interest. The 1865 Liberty-seated dollar also reflects broader trends in American coinage policy. The U.S. Mint struggled to maintain a stable silver dollar program during this period due to fluctuating silver prices and the outflow of specie. The Coinage Act of 1873 would eventually end the regular production of these large silver dollars, replacing them with the trade dollar designed for Asian markets, and later, with the more familiar Morgan dollar introduced in 1878. Thus, the 1865 issue belongs to the penultimate decade of the original seated Liberty series, standing as one of its scarcer and more historically significant dates. In the context of metallurgy and minting technology, the 1865 dollar was struck using steam-powered presses, with dies engraved by hand and machine-assisted hubbing. Die varieties exist for this year, including minor differences in date placement, digit repunching, and die cracks, all of which are of interest to specialists in the series. The typical strike of this date tends to be sharp on the obverse details but sometimes shows weakness on the eagle's breast feathers due to die wear or uneven striking pressure. Proof-like circulation strikes are occasionally encountered, a result of fresh dies in highly polished planchettes at the beginning of production runs. The cultural and symbolic meaning of the Liberty-seated dollar in 1865 also cannot be understated. It was a coin that represented a struggling but ultimately enduring union, a time when the concept of liberty was being redefined and extended to millions of formerly enslaved people. The imagery of liberty seated with a shield, defending the nation's ideals, would have resonated deeply in a year that saw both the end of war and the assassination of a beloved president. For collectors, owning an 1865 dollar is akin to holding a piece of that transformative history in one's hand. Over the subsequent decades, many 1865 dollars were melted either as part of bullion trades or during the great silver melts of the 19th and early 20th centuries, further reducing their already limited population. As a result, population reports from major grading services today show only a few hundred examples in all grades combined, with a fraction of those in mint state or proof. Collectors pursuing a complete set of Liberty-seated dollars often regard the 1865 as a semi-key to key date, especially in higher grades. Today, the 1865 U.S. silver dollar stands as both a challenge and a treasure in American numismatics, a coin that combines artistry, low mintage, historical resonance, and market scarcity. It embodies the closing chapter of a war-torn era and the dawn of a reconstructed United States. For historians, it tells a story of economic upheaval, shifting trust in money, and the persistence of hard currency even amid paper inflation. For collectors, it offers the allure of rarity and the tangible connection to 1865, a year forever etched into the nation's collective memory. Its legacy continues in modern coinage, where elements of its design and historical placement inform the evolution of U.S. silver dollars, from the Morgan to the piece, and later the Eisenhower, Susan B. Anthony, and American Silver Eagle bullion coins. Yet, few modern issues can claim the same direct connection to the Civil War's closing moments, the abolition of slavery, and the immediate post-war era of hope and turmoil. In summary, the 1865 Liberty-seated silver dollar is not merely a piece of silver, it is a testament to a nation in transition, a scarce survivor of wartime economics, and a highly coveted gem in the realm of U.S. numismatics. Its relatively low mintage, its place as the last pre-motto issue, its association with one of the most defining years in American history, and its enduring beauty make it an object of admiration for collectors, historians, and patriots alike. Each surviving specimen is a silent witness to 1865, a year of endings and beginnings, of loss and liberation, and of a currency system that was as much about symbolism as it was about commerce.